Okay, so you know when you start to build a harem, you gotta be reasonable. You know, you just want a few girls. You get dangerous territory when you get into double digits. I mean, you gotta spread that love across all these girls evenly. That's the point of a harem. Yeah? Jester said, you want a harem? Brother, I'm giving you enough
Insufficient funds.
Hello my fellow degenerates, my name is Billy, and welcome to the AVN channel's review of Ripples, a time-travelling, mind-f***ing, harem-building, Mah-jong loving adult visual novel. No, seriously, this game will f*** your mind like Riley CMC. It hurts, but it feels so good. So, Ripples is a sci-fi time-travelling harem visual novel developed by Jester, available on itch, Patreon and Subscribestar. I'm currently on episode 6 as of this review. Now if you played this game, let me know who your best girl is in the comments below. Also stick around to the end of the video to see who my best girl is. Now, onto the that is Ripples.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
In this game you play the role of a young lad, recently turned 18 and lives with his family friend and her daughter. Yes, I know, it's almost like every other AVN ever made. He did live with his father, who was the perfect dad, but he died in a work-related incident several years ago. As our MC will soon discover, there is more to this incident that meets the eye. He will then take it upon himself to find the truth. Along the way he discovers that time travel may be involved and has now ascertained the ability to travel back in time 20 years. He gets himself wrapped up in a much bigger plot involving conspiracies, secret organisations and crazy women. Never stick your in crazy guys. Whoever thought of that never met Riley. So that, no, her. Like, literally, this girl's a goddamn freak. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So now, the MC has to go find out what's happening, all whilst trying to maintain a facade that is his regular boring life. You know, because somebody with a regular boring life just goes around and every hot female he knows. I want a boring life. Now I'm going to go off on a tangent, but bear with me, it's relevant-ish. I want to discuss time travel. This is going to get confusing, but I'm a scientific genius after all, so I 100% know what I'm talking about, and this is all fact, 100% proven, guaranteed, certified fact.
And that's a fact.
Okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with time travel media. I enjoy it, but I hate the fact that the majority of it runs on little to no logic. Most of it can simply be disregarded due to the grandfather paradox. If you aren't sure what that is, let me explain. Imagine travelling back in time with the intention of eliminating your own grandfather. Such an action would prevent your own existence, leading to a paradoxical loop. If you were never born, you could never have travelled back in time to commit the act in the first place. Consequently, your grandfather would remain alive, allowing your birth to occur, thus enabling you to repeat the cycle of attempting to erase your own existence. Thus, the grandfather paradox is born. This is why films like Back to the Future are illogical, and wouldn't work in reality. So the grandfather paradox can only be resolved by acknowledging the existence of alternate timelines and allowing the branching of time through time travel. For instance, consider going back 1 week to provide your past self with the winning lottery numbers, before returning to the future. However, upon your return, you find that you did not win the lottery in your current timeline. This outcome represents your present reality as it aligns with a timeline that you are bound to. Meanwhile, the past version of yourself diverges into a new timeline where they become wealthy by winning the lottery. Thus, while you may have succeeded enriching an alternate version of yourself, you're still a broke-ass bitch. Anyway, my next point in theory revolves around the concept of your actions have already been carried out by a previous version of yourself, and you're merely following the same path they took. Kind of like Fate, just more depressing. You're just running a recording of what happened before. No point in being sad or dwelling on it because it's all you can do, it's already done. The ability to travel back in time and encounter past versions of yourself implies the existence of an infinite number of iterations of you at different points in time. There are moments just ahead of you and another just behind you, continuing indefinitely. If you are able to revisit the past, it suggests that you are not the first in this lineage. The vast divergence among these timelines make it highly improbable, if not impossible, for you to be the initial iteration. Considering time as an infinite concept rather than a finite numerical value, there is no definitive start or ending point to your existence. Instead, there exists an endless array of versions of yourself within a perpetual loop of what is your lifespan.
Yes, science!
So why does this imply that you can't alter the future? Consider this scenario. Your friend is involved in a car accident and is tragically passed away. Desperate to change their fate, you travel back in time to warn them of the impending danger. At first glance, it seems like you are successful with your intervention. However, your actions inadvertently create a chain reaction. Your friend is now aware of the accident, becomes overly anxious and distracted, ultimately leading to the very accident that you were trying to prevent. In this cycle, you inadvertently become the cause of the accident that you sought to prevent. The realization dawns that you are not the first version of yourself to attempt to alter the timeline. A future iteration of yourself had already travelled back in time to warn your friend, thus setting off the sequence of events that led to the accident. This cyclic pattern suggests that despite the attempts to intervene, the future remains unchanged, locked in an endless loop of cause and effect. So, why is this all relevant, I hear you ask? It isn't really. This game's just a fictional story made up with a purpose of entertainment. But thinking of the intricacies of time travel in media is a personal fascination of mine. I find joys in theorising about this storyline. That is a lie. I hate it and it gives me headaches, hence the hate part of the relationships, but I will dive into my ripples theories later on. However, I still can't figure out where this game lands, in which direction is the plot going to go. Certain aspects suggest that the MC has already undertaken these actions in the past, both we and he have yet to witness in our current timeline. This notion aligns with the concept of infinite versions, suggesting the MC's journey isn't a first of its kind narrative, consequently raising the questions about the futility of our endeavours. Perhaps we are unable to alter the ultimate outcome, therefore what is the point of playing this game? Because Mah-jong. Now that we've delved into the intricacies of time travel, let's get back to the actual game at hand. So, we've got a grasp of the basic plot, but what about the pacing? Well, the game has a good amount of content, 6 episodes and each of them have a good few hours of play. And it manages to deliver the story without piling everything on too quickly, but it managed to do so at a pace that still keeps things entertaining. The main issue with the pacing is the rate in which the characters are introduced. There are quite a few, and lesser relevant ones tend to get forgotten. There are other aspects worth mentioning. It often feels like the MC's day stretches far beyond what is typical. I understand it's a time travel story, but the MC packs a load of activities into one day. He goes school, meets friends, investigates daddy's death, practices yogas with hot MILFs, goes on a date, plays Mah-jong, and solves world f***ing hunger, and that's just on a Monday. Every time someone asks him to do something, the MC will go, yeah, tomorrow, is that okay? I'm thinking, me brother, at least leave time for eat and sleep. This guy's going to be wearing nappies soon because he ain't even got time to go for the But in regards to the pacing of the story, yeah, it's still good.
That is your name, isn't it? Calvin Klein? It's written all over your underwear.
But what are visual novels without characters? Well, a pretty visual novel to be fair. And how do the characters in Ripples measure up? They're good, but some get very little exploration due to the sheer amount of them. Seriously, you're introduced to 20 odd characters within the first 3 episodes, I think. When the MC mentioned a character, I had to dig deep to remember who they were sometimes, as only a few of them really stand out, so I will discuss what I can. Alright, let's dive into the main character first, shall we? We've got an 18-year-old lad who seems to have misplaced his eyes. Seriously, I honestly don't think this model has eyes. The only time he shows his face is behind sunglasses. Anyway, for his backstory, it's a textbook MC material. Mum kicks the bucket during childbirth, dad follows suit later on, and you end up spending your formative years under the care of a family friend who just happens to be a hot MILF with her equally hot daughter. The guy's not stupid, in fact he actually seems rather smart, but when it comes to women, he's about as blunt as a hammer to your cranium. And yet, somehow, they all flock to him like moths to a flame, and he's still clueless as ever.
Who cares? Doesn't the thrill of being caught excite you? That someone might hear you say naughty things? Or doing naughty things? You know, getting an adrenaline rush, getting your heart racing, getting hot and sweaty.
Is that why you like skateboarding? For the thrill? For the rush?
Luckily, this look has got a really big fur. His tail's straight about as big as your arm, so basically he's just every other visual novel MC ever. Then we have Darcy. She has 2 in 1. Not only does she serve as the MC's love interest, but she's also his best friend, and let me tell you, I adore this girl. Honestly, she's hilarious. She had to ship off to an all-girls school because of fighting, but now she's 18, she's back in town and back to her old school with us, the MC. Despite her tomboy exterior, there's a side of her that longs to be recognised as a woman, especially in the eyes of the MC. There's an undeniable sexual tension brewing between them, and she attempts to push their relationship towards being more physical intimate under the guise of practicing. However, both us and the MC can see straight through this like it's your mum's nightgown in the red light district, as it's obvious she wants to take their connection to the next level. But she's too shy and doesn't want to admit feelings. Clearly, things begin to escalate, and practicing kissing soon leads to other forms of Mah-jong. Up until this point in the game, we haven't really explored the deeper elements of their relationship, but we know it's there and it's coming.
Wait, are we still doing phrasing?
And I hope it does. Darcy is one of the main contenders for Best Girl. Honestly, she may not be the best looking character in the game, but she's great. I love the dynamic between her and the MC, and her attitude and the way she responds to the world is just fantastic. She takes no but there is this softer side to her, one that she is slowly surfacing with the MC. Tiffany plays the maternal role in the MC's life. She's entered the picture when the MC was just a child, having met the MC's father. After the MC's father passed away, she took on the responsibility of raising him. Unlike a lot of other AVNs, this one is a lot less on the nose with the family stuff, and their relationship largely avoids typical family dynamics. However, as their relationship begins to evolve, it raises some questions about the ethical implications due to the power dynamics at play, but f*** it, she's a MILF. Mah-jong it is. That said, beyond her role as the MC's caregiver and the internal struggle regarding her feelings for the MC, there isn't really much to her character. She becomes a driving force of the MC's actions in the past, but her involvement in this aspect is minimal, primarily about the MC's emotional connection to her. Jessica's Tiffany's daughter. She's a year older than the MC, and to put it bluntly, she's a total bitch. I really don't like her. It seems she only warmed up to the MC when Darcy was out of the picture, but the moment Darcy reappears, Jessica's attitude takes a nosedive. It's obvious that she's developed feelings for the MC but doesn't want to admit it. But at the same time, she hates it when someone potentially gets in between them. Whatever the MC does, he can't seem to win with her. If he's nice to Jessica, she just brushes it off. If he shows kindness to another girl, she turns into a complete bitch. I don't like her, but at the same time I do. She's a complex character when it comes to emotional relationships, afraid of commitment yet possessive and jealous. She wants the MC to herself but can't bring herself to take the plunge. Personally, I hope she doesn't join the harem situation if the MC continues down this path. It just wouldn't fit her character. After all, she doesn't want to share the MC with anyone else. So why would she just accept being part of a harem? While I may not like her as a person, I can appreciate her complexity as a character. Crystal is another childhood friend of the MC and a very close friend to Darcy. She's had a thing for him since they were kids, and Darcy is aware of this. However, when Darcy left, they grew distant, and it wasn't until Darcy returned they began to speak again. And with that, of course, playing some Mah-jong. Initially, Crystal presents herself in a provocative manner, behaving in what the game terms as slutty. Despite this persona, it becomes clear that it's just a facade. All she ever wanted to be is noticed, and once she realises that those that truly care about her see her for who she is, she begins to dial it back on this, and we start to see a deeper side of her character. A girl who wants someone to care for her and love her for who she is. You also have her mother Chloe, who we met in the past, who's just like her. You can see where she gets it from, but for plot convenience, we never actually meet her mother in the present day, despite being in her life for quite some time. Okay, so if Jessica's a bitch, then Shelby is an absolute cunt. She's a quintessential mean girl at school, strutting around and she owns the place thanks to daddy's deep pockets, but as the story unfolds, it becomes apparent that Shelby's got her fair share of demons lurking in the shadows. She's sure got some daddy issues, but that's not an excuse for her behaviour. Maybe she would potentially become a love interest if we managed to turn her around, but honestly, I'm not sure I'd even want to bother, so yeah, my bitch. Do you like gilfs? Well, you're in luck. Local gilfs in your area are looking to, or at least Miss Gilmore is. Jackie is not only your teacher, but she's also Darcy's grandma. And you know what? Still pretty good looking for her age. It's quite obvious that she takes a liking to the MC, and honestly, I don't think Darcy minds at all. Even to the point where she dresses up in lingerie around the house when the MC comes around. She not only serves as your teacher, but also as a person the MC comes to rely on for assistance in unravelling the mysteries surrounding this local power plant. Leveraging her expertise in science, as that's one of her key subjects. Just make sure you bring the jam. Alicia and Alice are twins, but so far Alice hasn't made much of an appearance in the game. She is meant to be upbeat, fun and bubbly, and apparently a friend of the MC. However, she's not been around much as she's been experiencing some issues with her boyfriend lately. Alicia, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. She's a shy, nerdy girl who's afraid of boys and solely focuses on her academics. Interestingly, she's actually the catalyst of the NC's investigation for the father's death, but their relationship starts to take off when they collaborate on a school project. This is when the MC helps her break free from her timid shell. Despite never having experienced a kiss or even being held by a boy, by the project's conclusion, she's open to exploring these newfound emotions with the MC. She's actually a genuinely sweet and innocent girl, but it also seems like she's going to be a bit of a closet freak. But surprisingly, she emerged as one of the top contenders for Best Girl. I love watching her grow from a nervous, introverted girl to building up her confidence, all thanks to the MC's influence. That and the fact that she's a redhead. Valerie's a good friend of Tiffany's and joins her for her yoga sessions. Despite being older, she's quite adventurous. She has a thing for the MC and younger guys in general. My girl's a cougar. Yeah, then call me the hunter. She's the one who encourages Tiffany to act on her feelings for the MC. Oh, Skylar. Well, Skylar, first off, let's address the fact that she's a dead ringer for Android 18. But beyond her striking resemblance, she's actually Jessica's closest friend and quite possibly the most significant romantic interest the MC gets involved with. It's relationships like this that make me want solo storylines, as I feel like they're going to get overshadowed by the harem scenarios. What begins with a casual fling gradually evolves into a deeper, more meaningful connection. Skylar's outgoing, fun and downright stunning, especially when she turns up with a tattoo. I mean, what? Redheads and tattoos, you know? We've all got a types, okay? Anyway, she's grappling with some serious family issues, and the MC steps in to lend a hand to her and her mother, Luna. However, Skylar is definitely a frontrunner for the title of Best Girl. Daphne. Daphne is introduced to you by Crystal, but at this juncture, we don't have many details about her character, and she comes across as a carefree, cheerful individual who enjoys a good game of Mah-jong. She's not looking for anything serious, just friends with benefits arrangement. Personally, I like her. She's unfazed by others' opinions and simply wants to revel in life's pleasures. Sounds like a fun girl. Enter Jenny, a character who signifies the possibility of a more profound connection. She's Tiffany's deceased sister. That means she's dead, tragically lost in the same work-related incident that claimed the MC's father. The MC encounters her when travelling back in time, and she becomes one of the MC's motivations for returning. The objective? To save her. As the MC navigates through this mission, a bond begins to form between them. Despite exploring the physical relationship, the connection hasn't really progressed beyond friendship at this point. Nevertheless, the MC holds a significant place in Jenny's heart, and it seems that the sentiments are mutual. She also likes Doom. Move over, sweet cheeks, I'll show you how this is done. Jenny represents a significant emotional opportunity within the game, an opportunity that is missed. Consider the MC's circumstances, travelling back in time 20 years and discovering that someone they care for is still alive. They also grow close to this person in the past and do everything in their power to save them, only return to the future to find them still deceased. Each time the MC experiences this, it's akin to reliving the loss all over again. While this would devastate an ordinary person, the MC's response is rather stoic, almost as if they're saying, "Yep, they're just still dead, yep, never mind." The emotional impact on this character is minimal, which is a missed opportunity for deepening the character development. Scarlett and April are siblings from the past. Scarlett is Alicia's and Alice's mother, and the storyline suggests that this year might become romantically involved with the MC in the past, and she may be the one to piece together who the MC actually is. Meanwhile, April, Scarlett's sister, adds an element of mystery. Despite being from the past, as far as we're aware, April is aware of the MC's identity. However, her true intentions and alliances are unclear. What we know is that she has knowledge of the MC's origin and is aided him when necessary. Janelle. Currently, Janelle doesn't play a significant role in the plot. She's more of a peripheral character and also owns a local lingerie store. Interestingly, her husband enjoys watching her play Mah-jong with other men. Cook. Despite her seemingly minor role, she's mentioned frequently in conversation, making me think that she may play a bigger role in the story eventually. Look, okay, right, here's the deal. Sticking your Mah-jong tray in crazy is never a good idea. But my life has been full of bad choices and stupid ideas, so why stop now? At first I brushed Riley off as just another side girl, but there's something deeper brewing within her story. Despite her wild and unpredictable nature, there's a mysterious side to her that captivates me. She's eccentric and undeniably intriguing, and yeah, I'll say it again, a total freak. Mah-jong will never be the same again. Plus, she's not just a bystander. Riley has a crucial role to play in the plot, serving as a vital link between the events beyond the time travel and the day that the MC's father died. She's privy to important information, but the MC needs to build trust within her. Honestly though, I'm terrified at what she might do if I don't choose her as best girl, guys. Save me, please. Lastly, there's Danny, who's supposedly Shelby's friend. Initially, she comes off as rather unpleasant. She's a bitch, but as the MC soon realises, it's mainly because she's under Shelby's influence. However, after some conversations with the MC, Danny begins to transform and take on the role of guiding Shelby towards better choices. Currently, there's no deep relationship between the MC and Danny, but they're starting to delve into the realm of possibilities, like being Mah-jong buddies. The dynamics between characters in the game are heavily influenced by the dialogue choices you make. There's a menu that provides information about these girls, including their affection and lust levels, and indicates a route that you're currently on with them. It's amusing to note that at this stage only one girl is considered a lover, and it's not necessarily the one I initially expected. Some girls are simply friends, while others have a friends with benefits arrangement. But then again, this is a harem game. There is a range of relationships at levels among the girls. The variety gives me hope for dedicated paths, but yeah, nah brother, that's probably not gonna happen.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Apart from making choices, the game lacks substantial mechanics. While the choices themselves are present, there's a lack of guidance of how they actually impact the game. In a lot of visual novels, you receive feedback if a choice has positively affected the game, but Ripples won't inform you about this unless you check the character stats screen. And I actually prefer it this way. Whilst it does make the game more challenging if you're aiming for the perfect run, it also prevents you from spoiling the experience for yourself. Some dialogue choices may seem obvious in terms of their outcome, but others are less clear. And I also have to say, there are times when I'd select a dialogue option expecting the MC to say one thing, only to hear something completely different, prompting me to rewind and try a different choice. Additionally, there are some fight scenes, but they don't introduce a new mechanic or anything. It's still just a dialogue box where you choose your action, whether it's duck, dodge, punch, kick, what have you. Sometimes the game drops a hint at which choice to make, but other times it just feels like pure luck akin to rolling a dice, so you might click dodge and get punched in the teeth.
Get out of town. I didn't know you did anything creative.
Now, onto the visuals. What's the game appearance like? A bit of a mixed bag. Some of the characters resemble Barbie dolls and their movement can be a bit stiff. The environments aren't consistently not top notch either, but there are moments when the renders are truly impressive, especially during the lewd scenes. It took me some time, but eventually I grew to appreciate the quality. It's not the best out there, but it certainly looks good. However, the occasional letdown in environmental quality can be disappointing. The user interface appears decent. Characters' names are presented in larger fonts and a distinct colour, while characters' thoughts are enclosed in brackets. The game utilises a lower screen text menu, which is easy to read and functions effectively when within the game. Occasionally there are scenes where the game text glitches, adding a nice touch. While not directly relevant to the story, it enhances the atmosphere and emphasises the events that's currently occurring within the environment.
The answer's no, Griff.
No.
Yeah, what are you, deaf and stupid? I said no.
The music featured in this game is solid. While there is a decent variety, it's not particularly outstanding though, but it fits well with the overall tone of the game. I did notice that in some scenes it would either repeat the song or transition through a playlist. However, I suspect the playlist contains every song in the game, so what would seem just like a casual scene having a chat with Darcy can suddenly turn into a big epic moment when the song kicks in. Yeah, I'd be thinking, yes, about to go down until the music eventually fades away and I'm left like every woman that I've ever been with, cold, lonely and disappointed. In some scenes, particularly during the night scenes, there is ambient noise, but it's far too loud. Crickets and insects flood the night like a swarm of f***ing locusts. I thought the 7 plagues were coming, so I started repenting for my sins. Please, Lord, forgive me for my degeneracy. Please, Lord, forgive me for... yeah, I better stop that before the FBI picks me up on something. FBI, open up! Yeah, British is wrong jurisdiction, yeah, you. Anyway, we do get sound effects like dodging a punch and hitting somebody, and pants unzipping and so on. It's not an orchestra, but it is good and it adds to the experience of the game. And there are numerous sound effects in the lewd scenes as well. And while I acknowledge the effort, the quality of these clips are very inconsistent again. I'm uncertain whether it's due to the recording itself or the compression of the game, but some of the sound effects sound, well, less than stellar. There seems to be a significant amount of noise in the background from some clips, though others sound fine. But beyond this, there is no actual voice acting in the game beyond the Mah-jong moans.
You're so thin.
But what about the Mah-jong scenes themselves? How do they hold up? Pretty f***ing good. This game knew it was an adult visual novel and made sure it delivered on the adult section. Honestly, there's a huge variety of scenes. If you plan to polish your Mah-jong tray every time there's a game of Mah-jong happening, you're gonna wear the tray out. Honestly, you'll have nothing left by the end of the game. I'm not even counting them. There are just too many of them. Well, I don't know if you can have too many, but there's a lot of them. Honestly, it goes hard.
I really think we need to have a serious talk about getting phrasing back in the mouth.
In this department, and it does a great job of it. The animations look great, while the sound effects vary a bit, they can be good, and to be fair, there isn't a massive variety of flavours though, but there are a lot of scenes and they are mostly vanilla in flavour. If you're looking for something a bit more hardcore, just go with Riley. Seriously, go with Riley, okay? She's terrifying.
The other great mystery of the universe. Women.
Alright, now it's that moment. The best girl. My nominees in this game, as mentioned, are Alicia, the sweet innocent redhead, Riley, the rough loving hardcore freak, Skylar, the beautiful tattooed Android 18 lookalike, and finally Darcy, the best friend turned love interest. 4 nominees, but there could only be one, and this week's best girl is Riley. This girl has me seriously concerned. I don't even recognise myself anymore. Sure, she always seemed like there was more to her, but what really pushed me over the edge and made me choose her as best girl was that latest Mah-jong scene. If you've seen it, you know what I mean when I say, what the f is wrong with me? What the f? I joke about degeneracy, but seriously, degeneracy doesn't even scratch the surface with this girl. There's a mode you can unlock with her called deviant mode. He's not just being deviant. This is sort of that'd make Satan blush. I think I need help. Then that might be a video next week. I'll have to see professional help, turn to God, anything. But I think she broke me, and honestly, I don't think I want to be fixed.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Overall, Ripples is a solid game. The story follows a typical time travel narrative reminiscent of the actual Netflix series Dark. Instead of a light-hearted romp through time, it takes a more serious approach, focusing on 2 specific points in time. However, it doesn't fully capitalise on the emotional potential, and some characters fade into the background due to the large cast introduced at a short span. The visuals lack consistency, but when they hit the mark, they really shine. The same can be said about the audio and the sound effect. It seems like both the audios and the visual are gradually improving and becoming more consistent, although there's still the occasional renders that leave you scratching your head like, what the f is that? However, it's a story that truly stands out in this game. It's captivating and I thoroughly enjoyed unraveling the mysteries that has come with the time travel narrative. So, as I said earlier folks, here are my theories, so beware, there may be spoilers ahead. The Mystery Man. That's your dad. He was sent back 20 years and spent all that time learning and trying to stop people after the machine. However, the past is set in stone and you can't change it. This is evident from the photo that Scarlet has, since we haven't seen those events yet. But they happened, and the fact that Luna knows who you are in the present day, but why does Luna want Skylar not to see you? Here's where it gets a little bit up, okay, and it's an AVN so it's explainable. You played Mah-jong with Luna. Now we've not done that yet in the story so far, but I think at one point you play Mah-jong with Luna, and then she gets pregnant, giving birth to Skylar, your daughter. It's an AVN so this is absolutely possible, and since she's into this weird voodoo, she instantly knows it's you. She may not understand why or how it's you, but she knows you're the same person from 20 years ago. Now the only flaw about this idea is that part of this is the character's directory. It doesn't show in Luna's section whether Luna has a path or not. There's no option for that, there's no section for that, like it does with the other girls. Unless this is only the case because her path is not optional due to it being a big story beat. But the timing makes sense. Both Skylar and Jessica are 19 and Tiffany is pregnant, so either Luna is already pregnant when you go back in time, or she's gonna get pregnant soon. But who with? I mean, like, who's the dad? Not who with child-wise, it's Skylar, but who's the dad? Well, that's it. That's my theories. I thought it'd be fun to throw them out there with the type of story that it is. But would I recommend this game? Absolutely. Definitely recommend it. Despite its flaws, it's still a captivating experience and it's got me hooked. I'm eagerly anticipating the next release to delve into the story more. Plus, the Mah-jong scenes, top notch. And this game offers plenty of them, which is quite impressive for a story-heavy game. And not only am I looking forward to the completion of this game, because I want to know what happens, I want to know what happens to see if I'm right. I'm going to be right, guys. It's an AVN. That can happen, don't question it. Okay?